everybody, and welcome to the second week of our Greek month in our Monday Munchies series. My name is Becky, and I am the creator, producer, whatever you want to call it. I'm a little bit of everything for both Monday Munchies and the overarching project called Crossing Borders. You can check us out in the link in the description. We are a women-led travel TV show trying to get off the ground, literally. And we are just in the funding phases. And right now we can't really travel, so we are traveling through food. This month we are traveling through Greece. We are using the website mygreekdish.com, and the author of this recipe, and so far all of them, I think maybe they do all of their recipes, is Eli K Giannopoulos. And today we're making a traditional pastitsio. What they say is it's the same recipe their grandmother used to make, so we making somebody's grandma's recipe. So it's about to be good. You're asking, what the heck is a pastitsio? I got it. I didn't know what it was either until I finally tried it and was like, chef's kiss, this is great. It's sort of like a Greek lasagna. You have ground beef that we're going to cook up in a tomato sauce. You've got a bechamel sauce, which is like a buttery cream sauce. You've got pasta. You got cheese. It's a whole bunch of good stuff all mixed together. This is also a recipe I think my family will eat, so I'm making it instead of making moussaka, which is what I actually wanted to make, because I really like that too. I like it a little better than pastitsio, but they're both good, and my family won't eat eggplant. And eggplant, or aubergine, is in moussaka. It's like part of the main ingredients for moussaka, so not gonna happen. So as always, we're gonna come check out our ingredients. We need a lot of them for this. It's a multi-step process. Let's get started. Alrighty, so for today's pastitsio, we need a buttload of ingredients. You need butter. You need 2 medium red onions. You actually need kefalotiri cheese, but I can't find that. Had a really hard time finding Greek cheeses. I could find Russian, Bulgarian, Italian, all sorts of cheeses, but not Greek cheeses other than feta. So Eli says you can substitute a Parmigiano Reggiano. So we have 50 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano and another 50 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano. I have it already shredded. It sounded really good. It's a nice little mix, so I went with that. We have our bucatini pasta. You have tomato paste, cinnamon stick, clove, bay leaf, 2 cloves of garlic, some oil. Supposed to be chopped tomatoes. I found diced tomatoes, couldn't find chopped for some reason. Ground nutmeg, feta cheese, red wine, 2 egg yolks, and 2 egg whites. So 2 eggs altogether. You want to split the yolks from the whites. 1,000 milliliters of milk. I just did a 2% milk. It equals out to about 4 cups. It's a little bit over 4 cups when you measure it out, but then also 120 grams of flour. Oh, the butter is also, both of these, 120 grams. 120 grams here, 120 grams here. And I think that's it. Other than the ground beef, which I'm not taking out until we need it. And you need 900 grams of that, which is about 1.87 pounds. Let's get started. So I actually am gonna pull the ground beef out because we are gonna use this right away. I didn't think we were. So the first step in making our pastitsio is making our meat sauce. So I'll see you over at the stove with your ground beef. Chopped onions, we're gonna chop these up. Chopped garlic, and your tomato paste. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and chop up these onions. All right, onions cut up. We're gonna put those in a bowl and move them over to the stove because we're gonna need to heat those up, and then we're gonna cut the garlic. We're gonna see if I have a day where I don't spill anything on the counter. Nope, there it went. We were close. And then I just gave up. Onions are over by the stove. Now we're gonna cut up that garlic. Again, I mentioned it in my first video, but if you don't know, after you cut the ends off the garlic, if you just do a little pound like that, the skin comes off really easily. Some people don't know, so I thought I'd give you a quick little garlic cutting tip, because that I do know. It makes me feel Very fancy that I know that. That's a tip I can thank my dad for. Alright, garlic's done. And we are also going to take this over to the stove. Alrighty, I'd like to welcome back Mom Pan to the show. We are about to saute onions, put garlic, tomato paste, all sorts of good stuff, and you know what that calls for. Mom Pan! If you haven't seen my other episode, Mom Pan is the pan I always use. It's non-stick. My mom always uses it to cook her eggs. So I call it Mom Pan, because she always uses it. So we're gonna head over to the stove, saute some onions, and get our sauce working. I'll see you over there. All right, so we've put our pan on the burner at a medium-high heat. We're gonna take 1/4 cup of our vegetable oil. Seems like a lot of oil, but that's what they said. Put it in here. When it heats up, we're gonna saute our onions. Alrighty, our oil's sizzling already, so pop all those onions in there. Everything is heating up so fast today. It's also much warmer than it has been lately. It's like 40 degrees or something today. So I don't know if that's affecting how fast things are heating up, because last month we were in like the single digits and it was cold in the house. So I don't know. Now we're gonna saute this for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so these have been cooking for 3 minutes. We're gonna add in the garlic. Pop that right in there. Also the 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Doesn't want to come out. Get out of there, my dude. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. And we're gonna add the beef. We're gonna break that all out with a spoon. As per the usual with any recipes you do, make sure you get all of your ingredients outside of the pan. It's probably because I use a pan that's too small, but I love Mom Pan. We are gonna brown this for 4 to 6 minutes. All right, we're swapping to a bigger pan, because we're gonna need to add more liquids and stuff anyways, so we're just gonna put it all in here. Okay, so we've cooked this for our 4 to 5 minutes. It's mostly browned. It's gonna cook like a bajillion. It's gonna cook for a half hour anyway, so I'm not worried about the stuff that's not browned, because most of it is browned. So now what we're gonna do is add our 150 milliliters of cooking wine, red cooking wine, the sugar, the cinnamon stick, bay leaf, 1 clove, it's so tiny, but 1 clove, and the diced tomatoes. We're gonna give this a stir. Now I can use the wooden spoon. We're gonna let this come to a boil, and then we're going to cover it and simmer it for a half hour. All right, so this has come to a boil. So we're gonna go ahead and place the lid on there, turn the heat down to low, and let it simmer for 30 minutes. So while our meat sauce is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and start making the bechamel. So right now we've got the butter in here melting. Once the butter is melted, we're going to add the flour and whisk consistently. So something the recipe didn't mention was to warm the milk. For the bechamel, it just said add warmed milk, but never said to warm the milk. Or I missed it, which is entirely possible. So I just quickly warmed our milk. Okay, so it looks like our butter is melted or melting. We're gonna whisk it up a little bit, see? Oh, not quite there yet, but we're getting close. You can see we still got our meat cooking over here, our meat sauce. And we're gonna go ahead now, and while whisking continuously, we're gonna add our 120 grams of flour.
What we want this to do is to make a paste, which it is doing quite well. That is a paste. And we're gonna add the warmed milk in small batches while stirring continuously to make sure that our mixture doesn't get lumpy. All right, we're gonna say it's thick. We're gonna take it off the heat. Let's swap these around real quick. That way you can see what we're doing over here. If we can. Okay, so we took it off the heat. And we are going to add the egg yolk. And you want to stir this consistently as well so it doesn't turn into an omelet, this egg, because this is hot. And now we're going to add some salt and pepper. Little pepper. Oh, a little more pepper. There we go. A little salt. Then we need a pinch of this nutmeg. That looks like a pinch. And 50 grams, so 1 of our cups of that grated cheese. And it doesn't say what to do after that. I assume you just want to do it until all the cheese melts. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to whisk, whisk, whisk. All right, we're going to set that aside. The next step is to cook our pasta. So we're going to use this big old pan here. Oh! And the bucatini looks like this. So we're going to cook these pasta. You actually want to cook them about 2 to 3 minutes less than the box says. Our box says to cook 10 minutes. We're going to cook it for 8 because it is also going to cook more in here when we bake it, and you don't want it to get mushy. I'm going to be a little nosy. Ooh, that looks good. I'm trying to cover some of that steam so y'all can see it. It smells really interesting. It smells very good. A little sweetness, but a lot of savory. It's going to be tasty, I think. So, we're going to let that go. Currently working on boiling some water for the pasta. Alrighty, so the meat is cooked. We are waiting on the pasta to boil, the pasta water to boil. So I'm going to take the meat off the heat. The water is boiling, so we are going to cook our pasta for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, the package says to cook it for 10 minutes, but Eli says to cook it for 2 to 3 minutes or less. So we're going to do it for about 7 minutes. In you go! No more pasta. Once the pasta has been cooking for 7 minutes, we're going to drain it in the sink, and I will meet you back over at the counter for assembly. Okay, so our pasta's done cooking. The next step is to add the egg whites and the feta cheese. Oh, I guess that's done. Add the egg whites and the feta cheese and mix it together by squishing it down with a fork. This we're gonna put into our pasta. All right, we're gonna put the pasta in here. And mix it all together. Putting the egg white in here with the pasta is gonna make the pasta stick together better. So you just wanna make sure that mixture kind of gets in everywhere. If the pasta had not just come off the stove, I might even just do this with my hands to ensure that like every noodle got covered. But it's too hot to do that. All right, so we have our pasta, feta, egg white mixture here. We've got our meat sauce, our bechamel, and we have that 50 grams more of the Parmesan cheese to top this with. So we're gonna take the pasta. I think you're supposed to lay it out neatly. So we're gonna do that. I don't really say how to assemble it to spelled out, so I'm just gonna try to get a flat layer. Actually, I think I'm okay with it being a little messy and not so perfectly put together. As long as we've got like a base here. I think the important part is you want the base so that like the pasta sauce and the meat and everything doesn't drip. You want it to give it a nice base. Then we're gonna top it with the meat sauce. I think we're gonna make 2 pans of it, because this pan's just a little too small.
So for this, we did take the clove, the cinnamon stick, and the bay leaf out of the meat sauce. So what I'm doing is making this to serve up later. There's 2 ways to do this. You can either construct the whole thing, wait for it to cool, pop it into the refrigerator, and serve it up later. Or you can make the whole thing up, bake it for the 40 minutes, let it cool, pop it in the fridge, and then cook it again for 20 minutes later on when you go to make it.
From here, we're going to put that bechamel sauce on there, which mine didn't really get thick. So I don't actually know if this is gonna be good. We're just gonna fill that right to the top. There is our pastitsio.
We've got our pastitsio ready. We're gonna pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes and take it out and try a little bite, see how it tastes. All right, our pastitsio is out of the oven. I'm very excited. Oh, it looks so good. Look at this. Can you see this? Oh my God, it's crusty, it looks good, it smells so good. So your pastitsio doesn't fall apart. You want it to cool a little bit before you cut it. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't wait for it to cool, so it just came out like a mess. I'm gonna see if I can get a better picture later, but I do want to take a bite and just at least see how the flavors are doing. Oh my God, it's so hot. Just see it steaming. And it's on a paper plate. We're classy here. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. We're gonna have a better picture for like the thumbnail than this mess because I was impatient. Well, thank you all so much for watching today. We will be back next week with, I'm not sure what we're gonna make yet. I got a couple ideas, I don't know which one we're gonna make. So we will be back next week with another Greek recipe. Until then, check out Eli K Giannopoulos' recipes over at mygreekdish.com. You can find links to our Etsy website, Patreon, and Instagram, all in the description. Give us a follow on all those. Subscribe to our Patreon to get some cool perks, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, and as always, take care and be good to each other. Bye!